the game and you haven't left us, you love basketball first and foremost. You're related to one of these players. Or quite frankly, you actually rooting for your team, and some of these guys may have played for your team.
I like the young point guys. Wilbekin's a guy I watched earlier in the week, and he was impressive. He went head-to-head with Trey Burke in one game from Utah and looked really good. This Philly team, I'm not saying that the vision is clear in terms of what they got going on, but it's certainly the semblance of talent is there. I think you see the young talent that's being assembled. Something can be made of it.
Well, one game in plus less than 30 seconds and you got a Trey Burke.
Well, you guys don't want to talk about Trey Burke or any other Michigan players, and somebody got to do it.
The thing you hit on there, Saker, was like you said, the vision. You mentioned the vision, and we don't really know. We know Philadelphia's rebuilding, but it seems like it's a little blurry. Is a good way to put it, maybe?
Yeah.
Because they've spent last year's draft, and then, as we mentioned, Noel didn't play, and then this year they went after Joel Embiid, and it seems like they're so deep in rebuilding.
It's almost like Joel Embiid went after them. I mean, when he drops the way he did, if you're Philadelphia, you can't pass him up.
Right.
You can't pass up the guy who potentially would have been the #1 pick in the draft, didn't you?
Well, Joel Embiid will be paired with Nerlens Noel now.
We think. I mean,
at some point,
they're not afraid to make moves and trade. So,
well, you have to think that both of these individuals, these young talented prospects, really were drafted primarily for their defensive presence to begin with. Neither one offensive monsters in college. Competent, one-year players in both cases. One at Kentucky, one at Kansas. It will be a minute before we see both of them on the floor together.
Yeah. Potentially they could be something special, but it's a long-term deal.
We've talked on the podcast, guys, about how hope is such a powerful drug.
Yeah.
You go and get these guys and you say, well, we're building. We're going to get there. We probably
point.
Yeah, you could buy a lot of hope right now in Vegas.
This is another curious thing though about Summer League is all the different players you see on these Summer League rosters that popped up elsewhere in the past. Devin Ebanks, a guy who really looked like he established himself a few years ago. Back here, in the Summer League grind, trying to get it together. What do you think happens when a guy like that, Rick, falls through the cracks and comes back and has to go this route
before we get there, you remember Ebanks, like a lot of people thought he would be a first-round pick.
Yeah, I know.
He slipped to the second round in that 2010 draft out of West Virginia. The Lakers got him in the second round, and then now he ends up here.
Well, the draft is an interesting process for a lot of players that leave school early or think their potential might land them in the first round and they slide to a second round position. In some cases, you can find your way on a good team where your skill set is best suited as opposed to being drafted by a team that's stacked with veterans and you never see the day of light. Devin Ebanks, in his case, landed in Los Angeles at the tail end of championship basketball, so he was around.
Did it hurt you to say that? The tail end of championship basketball in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Check out this block here.
Yeah, Jeremy Grant.
Well, speaking of championship basketball, he comes from a family, at least one of his family members won championship.
Good stuff.
And I got a chance to see him work out before the draft. He was working with B.J. Armstrong on his range. Very athletic man. Could shoot the mid-range, but surprisingly for me, was working on his three-point. Maybe we'll get a chance to see some of that tonight.
Yeah.
But the defense, again, a young player who has the ability, as you saw, just to block a shot, will probably get minutes on the rebounding and defensive end to begin with before he'll be asked to score offensively.
Is he another one of those guys you mentioned, though, trying to navigate that process of when to come out? You feel like you have NBA skills and potential, but you might not be a polished product at the college level. And how long do you wait? Because the longer you wait, it seems like the more you get knocked for not being in the league already.
In some ways, the longer you wait in college, the more teams see what you can't do. You might not be able to do it anyway, but they don't know about it, right?
But then you get knocked for still being in college. Like, what's he still doing in college? He must not be ready. and then you come out early and you're not ready, and they're mad at you because you should have stayed in school.
Yeah.
Well, I like the energy at the start of this game compared to our first game.
Yeah.
Guys are competing.
It's interesting, a guy like Ron Howard, who probably people, I guess most fans don't really know much about him, but
He's a pretty good director.
here's Mr. Hollywood. Ron Howard was the co-MVP of the D-League last season, and trying to kind of make that breakthrough to the NBA, and hasn't quite done it yet. But I think he's kind of shown everything you can show in the D-League. And now it's about where do you get that opportunity in the NBA.
I don't think there's any doubt of the impact the D-League has had on the NBA rosters the past few years. It's pretty clear with all the call-ups we've had, all the different guys who have cut their teeth in the D-League and then made, imprints on NBA teams with their play. The D-League's representatives here in Summer League are definitely worthy of attention.
Questions for the fans out there. We'll lob this trivia question out to you. Tweet a response to NBA at NBA TV. How do you think the D-League team is selected?
It's a good question.
You two can tweet the answer if you know it.
It is a select team.
It is a selected team.
Big time shot.
Good question. So far, we got a good game our answer, guys. Sixers lead 10-8. And we got a timeout coming up, so we're going to take a break here. Take another look at this dunk we just saw. The Sixers lead 10-8, 5:36 to go in the first.